So, of course, we're talking about some tragic news tonight. We're talking about Glee actress Naya Rivera. She's presumed dead. Anthony, what's your take on everything that's going on with that right now? As you know, her and her 4-year-old son, they went out on a boat. They were out there for, I believe I read the article, it said they were out there for over 3 hours. So finally they started to look for her. And then when they found her, the boat, didn't find her but found the boat, they just found her son asleep in the boat, and he said his mother never got back in the boat. So what's your take on that?
Sounds tragic. Like I wouldn't even couldn't even imagine going in any other route other than that. One, she's presumed dead, and at this point it's hard to believe otherwise. Unfortunately, and I just can't imagine my daughter's 5, and I just couldn't imagine what it would be like for that child to just wake up, because he was napping, right? That's my understanding. He was taking a nap on the boat.
Mm-hmm.
How? You wake up, you're 4 years old, you wake up in this boat. When you went out onto the water, you were with your mom, you take a nap, you wake up, your mom's just gone. I just can't imagine what would be going through his mind or his little heart. And so my heart just breaks for the kid, and to see what's going to go from here. And for me, I is actually a huge fan of Glee. I loved Glee. So for me,
you played Santana Lopez on there.
Yeah. And, I thought she did the role extremely well. I enjoyed the show. I enjoyed her character. And so for me, that when I think about her time on screen, that's what comes to mind. And that's for me what I held most close to my memories of her on screen. She was in there for the entirety of it for 5 or 6 years, I think, actually. But yeah, so.
And I liked her. I never really watched her on Glee. See, I watched her when she did a guest arc on the final season of Devious Maids. She played a character on there. There was a show on Lifetime called Devious Maids, and she had played a character on there. I didn't really follow her on Glee. I've seen clips of her on Glee, but I watched her when she was on Devious Maids' final season.
Oh.
She played one of the maids in its final season, and she was involved in one of the people she worked for had a mystery going on, and her character kind of got caught up in the mystery. It was actually pretty good, and that's actually when I kind of became familiar with her as an actress, and then I started checking out scenes of her on Glee after that.
Yeah. So for me, it's pretty tragic. I don't know. It's just beyond her celebrity, just the fact that she had this little boy there, and I don't really know much to say. What's crazy to me though too is that they still haven't found her body. And you wouldn't think it would be that difficult to do. I don't know how much movement that water has.
Actually, that's the thing though. They say that lake actually has a lot going on in there.
Really?
They say a lot of parts of it are very deep. There have been cases of people drowning there before. One case, there was a guy and his child, they were on the lake, and the father was drowning, but he managed to get his child, safely back in the boat before he drowned. You know what I mean? So he was able to save the child before he died. So there is, cases of drowning at the lake. I think it's even a petition out now where they should put out signs and things of that nature, warning about the hazard of the lake. Some of the things I've heard about the lake is that they have a lot of trees underneath the water. They have a lot of debris, and they have a lot going on underneath that water. It seems like a calm lake, when, looking at it from the outside, but underneath of it, they said it's a whole, different thing going on under there. She could have really got, you don't really know, she could have got caught in some of the trees underneath there, because apparently it's trees that are under there, so you really don't know, and apparently it's a lot of them, and around Friday, 3:30 p.m., the Victoria County Sheriff's Department spokesperson gave an update on Friday about the efforts, and she's been missing since Wednesday, at Lake Peru, north of Los Angeles. The boat she rented was found later in the day with a 4-year-old son asleep. And on Friday, there were fewer people searching for Rivera. It was like 100 the day before. Now it was down to 40. And they said the reasons for the reduction were the dangers of the low visibility. They basically said it's trees and plants that are under the water that can cause entanglement. So they're thinking that maybe somehow she could have got entangled in part of that. And they're saying parts of it, of course, are shallow. And as a result, the rescuers were trying to both safer and effective ways to try to find her. They're using technology such as special dogs to narrow their search. They said they're not going to put divers into the water at the same rate because they think it's very unsafe. So they're trying to use sonar to identify things and send them down. One day, I think maybe Thursday, they thought they did that. They thought they might have found some kind of positive things, and then they went back the next day and nothing came from it. So a lot of it, like I said, it's a lot going on in the water. When people go out in the water, really need to be careful. I'm not really a big fan of going out into water on boats. There's been times where I've been invited to do such. I'm not really a swim type person, so it's never really been my thing. What's crazy is a lot of times in life you can do some of the simplest things and not realize that that could be the last thing that you ever do. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
So like I said, it's. I hope they do find her. That way they can kind of, get some resolution to all this and some closure. But like I said, they're saying now because of all the debris and all the trees and the plants underwater, there's no guarantee that they're necessarily going to find her. So I'm hoping they're going to keep searching. But he did state that after a while, after they've exhausted all options, then there probably won't be anything that they can do at this point.
Right.
But he said they're not quite at that point yet. They're going to try some more things to see if they can find her. And you never know, it could be one of those things where a couple days or a couple weeks from now, she can get untangled, wherever she's at, and then they could find her. I mean, I've heard of stuff like that happening as well.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That'd be something. It is definitely tragic, but at the same time, it's like one of those situations. Hopefully, for me, and I'm hoping for the best for her son. Hopefully he's going to be well taken care of. I'm assuming it's going to be like, I don't know, what his situation is going to be like. Hopefully he gets anything he needs to be able to cope with the situation. And as far as finding her remains, you think that's always one of those situations where you would hope that they would have it just for closure for the family. And I don't know what would happen with him in terms of the father, because to my understanding, I mean, that's, his father is Naya's ex, and apparently they had a really rocky relationship, Well,
I've seen pictures, the Daily Mail posted pictures of the father holding him, and they went to, I guess, Naya's sister's house, I think the day after it happened, and they ordered some food, and they sat with the sister, and the father was with his son, and he stayed at the sister's house for a couple of hours, and they showed videos of him leaving with his son, comforting his son. So I'm pretty sure the son's with the father now.
Okay, well, I mean, hey, as long as he's a good dad, you know what I mean? It's the most important thing, for sure. I don't know, regardless of the relationship that Ryan and Naya had, if I know that they had joint custody, set up more recently. So regardless of their relationship, hopefully he has a good relationship with his son, so that he's going to be well taken care of. And of course he's going to be surrounded by loved ones, which is great and what is extremely important. So that's my hope at this point. Obviously, when I first heard the news, my hope was simply that maybe she's alive somewhere, and then that quickly turned south, and so I'm just really hopeful for him really coming through all of this.
Yeah, it's truly a tragic situation. All right, well, Anthony, well, I thank you for joining us tonight for conversation. And audience, I thank you for listening. Have a great night.